Welcome to the deep dive. We're looking at a pretty extraordinary situation coming out of Romania today.
Yeah, it really is. You've got this presidential election rerun that just happened, but now the defeated candidate is challenging those results.
And it's especially remarkable because the original election, the one back in November, that one was annulled completely.
Exactly, annulled by the Constitutional Court. So, this is the second attempt in just a few months, and the controversy is just rolling on.
Okay, let's back up a bit then. This first election, November last year, it didn't even get to a final result, did it?
No, the Constitutional Court intervened after the first round, which is pretty unusual in itself.
And why? What were the official reasons for such a drastic step?
Well, the court pointed to two main things, serious campaign financing violations, and they used the phrase massive Russian interference.
Massive Russian interference. That's a very strong claim.
It is very serious, and it obviously casts a long shadow over the whole process, including this latest vote.
Now, the person who actually won that annulled first round was Calin Georgescu. He was described as a far-right firebrand. What happened to him?
Right, Georgescu. Well, he was ultimately barred from running in this rerun.
Barred. Why?
He's actually under formal investigation now. The allegations include misreporting campaign funds, illegal use of digital tech, and promoting fascist groups.
Wow.
He denies doing anything wrong, naturally, but him being out of the picture is, key context for this May election.
Definitely. So, okay, fast forward to this rerun. It was the runoff this past Sunday, May 18th. Who was on the ballot?
This time it was George Simion, who's described as an ultranationalist, against Nicusar Dan, the current liberal mayor of Bucharest.
That's ultranationalist versus a liberal mayor. A clear contrast there.
Very much so. And ultranationalist, typically means someone really emphasizing extreme national loyalty, often quite skeptical of international cooperation or other groups.
And a result. That seemed pretty clear-cut on the night.
It did, yeah. Nicusar Dan won with 53.6% of the vote. Simion got 46.4%. So, a margin of over 7 points. Looked decisive.
But clearly not decisive enough for Simion. He's now saying he'll ask the court to annul this election too.
That's what he said, yes. He intends to go back to the Constitutional Court.
And the grounds for this challenge. Is it something new?
Well, this is where it gets particularly interesting. He's citing the same fundamental reason as before, foreign interference.
The exact same claim that annulled the first vote.
Essentially, yes. He's arguing that the problems, the alleged interference that invalidated the November vote were still present, and in his view, tainted this one too. It creates this echo.
It certainly raises questions. So what are his specific allegations this time? What kind of fraud or interference is he claiming?
It's quite a list. He's alleged vote buying. He's made the pretty explosive claim that dead people voted on 18 May.
Okay. That's serious.
And he's also questioned the turnout numbers, saying it's impossible that over 11.5 million Romanians could have voted. Then there's the foreign interference angle again, supposedly seen by international observers, though details are scarce.
And also manipulation online.
Yes, claims about social media and algorithms being manipulated, and he's actually named names this time.
Oh, which countries?
He's directly accused France and Moldova. He said it was an orchestrated effort involving manipulating institutions, directing media, basically imposing a result to stop him winning.
France and Moldova. That's quite specific. And wasn't there something involving the founder of Telegram?
Yeah, Pavel Durov. Simion referenced a suggestion Durov apparently made, claiming Paris asked Telegram to, quote, silence conservative voices in Romania.
And France's response?
A flat denial. They called the allegations completely unfounded, categorically rejected them.
It's worth noting, too, isn't it, that Durov himself, who has Russian and French citizenship, is reportedly under investigation in France.
That's right. For alleged criminal activity facilitated on Telegram, things like child abuse images, drug trafficking. Telegram denies facilitating illegal stuff, says it follows EU law. But yeah, it adds complexity, let's say, to the whole narrative around digital platforms and interference.
Definitely a tangled web. Now, I thought Simion actually conceded on election night.
He did, yes. Initially, he conceded defeat to Nicusar Dan.
But then he changed his mind.
Seems so. He later announced he would challenge the result in court after all.
Did he say why he conceded at first? Something about avoiding trouble?
He mentioned loving Romania and not wanting to see bloodshed as a reason for stepping back initially. But even when conceding, he still insisted there had been manipulation before and during the count, so maybe not a full acceptance even then.
Okay, but despite all these claims, vote buying, dead voters, foreign plots, algorithms, Has he actually shown any proof? Any evidence?
That seems to be the key issue. The reports state that he hasn't actually provided concrete evidence to back up these repeated allegations of widespread fraud.
Right. So what happens now? Is this challenge likely to succeed, do we think?
Well, based on the reporting, it seems unlikely the Constitutional Court will annul a second election, especially without strong evidence. But you never know for sure.
But even an unlikely challenge causes problems.
Oh, absolutely. It guarantees a period of continued political uncertainty. Romania is under a caretaker government right now, and this just prolongs that instability. It's not ideal for governing the country or for, it's standing internationally. The court's decision will be crucial, obviously.
And it sounds like Simion isn't just relying on the courts. He's trying to rally his supporters.
It appears so. There were reports his supporters did their own parallel vote count in some places, suggesting they don't trust the official process.
A parallel count. Interesting.
And he's also apparently planning to give people a template, like a form, if they want to demand the election be canceled. So, yes, an effort to mobilize public opinion behind his challenge.
Okay, let's zoom out for a moment, the wider context. How is this being seen outside Romania? I saw a mention of The Guardian's take.
Yeah, their editorial framed Dan's victory as a vote for stability and the West, which tells you something about the geopolitical lens being applied here.
So Dan's seen as the pro-EU, pro-West candidate.
That seems to be the implication. Other coverage mentioned the EU breathing a sigh of relief that the far-right rival, Simion, was defeated. So there was clearly wider European interest, seeing this as significant for Romania's direction.
Okay, so let's try and sum this up. Romania's had 2 presidential elections, basically back-to-back.
Right. The first one, last November, annulled. Serious issues cited, including foreign interference.
Then the rerun in May. A clear winner, Nicu Șerdan, the liberal candidate.
But now the loser, the ultranationalist George Simion, is challenging that result, using very similar claims about foreign interference.
Despite, it seems, not presenting solid proof so far.
Exactly. So it leaves Romania in this kind of political limbo under a caretaker government facing prolonged uncertainty.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? When you have an election annulled for interference, and then the very next one is immediately challenged on similar grounds. Well, what does that suggest about how robust our electoral processes really are these days?
Are democratic systems becoming more vulnerable to these kinds of claims, or perhaps to actual interference? And what happens if challenging election results like this becomes, more common?
Yeah. What are the implications down the road?
Oh.
Definitely something to keep thinking about.